Well, good afternoon. Longhaultanker, straight razor shaving with Longhaultanker, and I am, well, it is the 6th of June 2025. Happy D-Day, 1944. The invasion by the Allied forces into Normandy. But that's not the topic of this video. But still, it's a memorable day and the heroism and valor that shown on that day. And many of my age, our parents, grandparents were there and fought. My dad was of that age. He was enlisted to go. He had a training exercise injury before combat and was removed from his unit and the forces and so forth. Anyway, what else was I going to say today? Oh, I've got 4 days of growth. My last shave was on Monday, and since then things have gone snafu, to use a World War II term. But anyway, so it's Friday, the 6th of June, and it's approximately 3:45 or 15:45, with 4 days of whiskers on my face. And let's show the equipment. This is the last of my current rotation, so I'm going to be moving to another 7-day roll-up of razors when I get home. And this is a Freedor J.A. Henkel with the Dancing Men, and this is one of my very first early purchases of a vintage razor or an old razor, and that's where I started, was in that grouping. I told myself I would never spend the money on a new razor. Well, I've bought plenty since then, but that was my naive thinking back in 2015 and 16. So what do we got here? We got Freedor Inox, no stain, Germany, made in Germany, 472. Henkels like to number their styles, and so this is a 472. It's got, now, the markings are generally pretty good. I don't know what, there we go, right there, for a second. Anyway, that's there, J.A. Henkels. A little bit of a square tip there, and this came to me from Japan. Now there was some nice engraving, and you can find them on the internet, eBay and places, where the engraving is top-notch on this 472 right here, but not on this one. It's been sanded down, presumably to get the rust out. And it came, as I say, from Japan. I don't know what kind of edge was on it, a J-nap presumably, but it was sharp. It is sharp. My boss is texting me. So here we go. We're using the Barbershop by Sterling Soap Company. And this one also is one of the very early, it's almost down to the bottom in there. And then my brush is the, what I call my workhorse, is the VP Leon Hardy handle, and with the golden nib 30 millimeter premium silver tip Badger. I'll put that back in the water. And it was soaking in the sink all during my shower. All right, let's see here. Well, let's get started lathering. And get that mess of 4 days whiskers off my face. And this will be fun. I'm expecting a very nice lathering. I'm expecting a very nice shave with this J.A. Henkel, and it's about a 6/8. So I hope you're all doing well. Congratulations to Sean Staplefeld on 1,000 subscribers on his channel. He does a very good job. You can tell he puts effort into his subject matter. So I'm very happy for that young man to have gained such a following. When I'm in the shower, I always give my face a good scrubbing like I'm doing now with the shower soap. But it just feels so good, you can't hardly resist doing it more. And I'm just wiping the soap off of my hand. I'm gonna get it bunched up here, kind of like that, and put it right back on top of my brush. So it doesn't go to waste, and do a secondary, and put that little wad right there. And it's just delightful. And to me, this is what a barbershop scent. And isn't that what Sterling does? They make a soap to at the scent of a soap, what you really think it ought to be. And the only thing I can think of that even comes close to this, and I've got a few. It's not the Barrister and Mann. It's not Ariana and Evans. It's the Clubman, Panade Clubman soap in the little green dish. Well, that just feels terrific. All right. And so this load was supposed to get loaded on Monday. I was supposed to leave Monday afternoon and get a little bit of jump on it. My boss said, you can leave Tuesday morning, you can leave Wednesday or Monday afternoon, whatever you want to do. And so he called me back, and this was on, I don't know, I forget what day, Monday morning perhaps. And so no, I think it was maybe Friday before. And so I got up on Monday morning, had a shave, shower and shave, got ready for work. I did a video, had enough time to post it up, and got the, it was either a text message or a phone call saying, yeah, they're gonna be late getting it loaded. There was gonna be a preloaded trailer for me. They said, come down to the yard on Tuesday at noon. Well, okay. I wasn't happy about that. I was supposed to deliver on Thursday, yesterday morning. All right, here we go. Let's do a traditional start. And so I got finally on Tuesday at about 2 o'clock. Was it 2 o'clock? Wednesday? Was it 2 o'clock? Was it on Tuesday? No, I think it was Wednesday. Anyway, be that as it may, I got snookered out of a day. I got taken. And then yesterday was Thursday. I was supposed to deliver on Thursday, but they had taken a day away from me. And then I had an 8-hour breakdown from 8:30 yesterday morning to about 5 minutes after 4 p.m. And but I put myself on sleeper berth, and I actually ended up being off duty or on sleeper berth for 9 hours, and not a 10-hour break, but I got a 9-hour break in. And so when I first put myself on sleeper berth, I had like 10 hours of driving left, 9.5 hours of driving left. And the fact that I was able to get 9 hours in on a sleeper berth made me eligible to do what's called a split sleeper berth, and that is an 8+2. Now, it doesn't have to be precise. It can be a 9.1 or a 9+1. Oh yeah, look at that, look at that. But that first leg has to be over 8 hours. And then you can drive your remaining hours that you had when you went to sleeper berth to begin with, 8-9 hours earlier. Oh, that's just absolutely beautiful. Look how sharp that is. And so I started driving then yesterday afternoon at 1600 with, I don't know, 8+ hours on my drive clock. And so I was able to get all the way to Cullman, Alabama, which was an hour from delivery this morning, and get into the Petros over there at, I think it's a place called Dodge City, Alabama. No, not Kansas. And so I got up this morning. Now, when I went to bed last night, I got in and parked at about 11 p.m., 2300 last night. And so I was driving out the remaining hours after the first leg of my split sleeper berth, the 8+2, or in this case, a 9+1. And so all I had to do was to complete one more hour, since I had already done 9 on sleeper berth. Even though I had driven 8 or 9 hours, all I do is complete one more hour. Since I already had 9 on sleeper berth from the beginning of that driving session, all I do is complete one more to complete a formal 10-hour break. And the advantage there is that you have to imagine that even though I had 8 or 9, 10 hours still remaining on my drive clock when I went to sleeper berth, and was still on sleeper berth at the end of my 9-hour break, there's an imaginary new clock that commences with 11 hours of driving. And so when I completed the 1 hour, even at midnight or shortly after midnight, I gained the remainder. Anyway, it gets complicated. And it just froze there. No time ticked away while I was still on sleeper berth during the night from midnight to 5 a.m. No time ticked away. So when I got up and going this morning, at 5 a.m., well, I didn't start driving till about 6:15, because the delivery window was from 7 to 10 a.m. And so I made my delivery, and I had about 4 hours left on my clock at the end of my delivery. I came to Utah, Alabama, which was about 3 hours from from Huntsville. And I have put myself on sleeper berth, and I am going to execute a full 10-hour sleeper berth rest period. And when I wake up tomorrow morning, I will have a full set of 11 hours driving, 14 hours on duty. I'm one of the only guys that I know, for whatever it's worth, who read the manual on the split sleeper berth and understood what it means. There is a technical, complicated part of it that you've got to use your imagination on. Because, well, in the age of computers, yes, the computer will tell you how it works, or show you in the clock how it works. Oops. My former safety manager could never explain to me. Now everybody understands ouch, I think I got myself. Everybody understands the first half of that when you do your 8 hours, it's 8 plus 2. When you do your 8 hours, you get back at the end of your 8-hour break, you get back all the hours that you had available to you when you went on to sleeper berth. And so it's what happens after you drive those hours and you take the additional 2-hour break. What happens then? What's the advantage? And boy, I got myself pretty good right there. But a little scratch, I don't think it's going to bleed much. But everything will be back to normal tomorrow morning with my hours when I execute the sleeper berth requirement for tonight, which is an ordinary 10-hour plus, but a minimum of 10 hours in the sleeper berth tonight. Good hot water, both in the shower and the sink, so I'm very pleased with that. I've been asked more than once about cold water shaves, and I just don't like cold water shaves at all. What you might call my first introduction or experience with cold water shaves was in all places Casper, Wyoming in the winter at minus 25 degrees outside. And the public restroom water was cold, very cold. And so, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So I went ahead naively to go on with the shave. Oh yeah, I can do this. And it just, all that did, the soap didn't melt, it just clumped up. I don't remember what I was using. As I think on it right now, I think it may have been the Seal Bigelow in the green tube. It just wouldn't melt. It just wouldn't, I couldn't, in that such frigid water, it would not melt, break down, start lathering. You saw that little trick, I guess. I've never been one to waste lather unnecessarily. I did not have to use my personal door lock to secure the door because they've got the kind of deadbolt that says vacant or occupied, red and green, and that's always a welcome sight. And it's a fairly new, oh yeah, I said I was in Utah, Alabama, on Interstate 20, southwest of Birmingham, southwest of Tuscaloosa, exit number 40 on the highway. As little truck drivers designate everything by mile markers and exit numbers. let's rinse it off and do the final strokes on the face shave. All right, let's move on to the head shave. And we're going to use the Dovo Kernel Conch that I used last time. Very nice scales. These are replacement scales, as I was told, for this Kernel Conch Dovo. What does it say on there? Kernel Ichabod Conch, product, comma, Inc. The Dovo Silogen and nothing on the backside. Now that J.A. Henkel's that I just used, the free door, is one of those razors that I continuously sharpened and honed on the Zulu Gray. And that's back when I was using the Zulu Gray dry, with no slurry, no water, no nothing. And I still use it dry, but I do also use it with the slurry and water. But it also came from Japan, very sharp, and I just keep it sharp by the, well, early on, back in 2015, 16, I remember very definitely sitting in front of the television with the dry Zulu, and that's where I was getting my practice. With it, sitting there just going back and forth dry. I come home from a long load and want to sit and relax, and my wife's at work, and back then people weren't working from home like they are today still, largely because of COVID. I cut that off too low. That's all right. When I get home tomorrow, day after tomorrow, it all goes to the clippers again and shave it off. I say shave it off, I mean clippers, you know, haircut. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to call that quits on the head shave. We're done with the face shave. And let's do the final rinse and alum block. Yeah, you can see that I got the soap, my brush, soaking in the sink, and the soap is dissolving in the water. All right. All right, that's pretty much it then. We use the J.A. Henkel's Inox 6/8, beautiful razor. It's old, vintage, but it still carries its own weight. We use the barbershop from the Sterling Soap Company. It's just absolutely beautiful, beautiful scent. Oops. Oh, chip the corner off of that. Look at that. Chip the corner off of the Allen block. So I'm going to set that over there. Okay, and then the brush, of course, was what I call my workhorse brush. It's a VP Leon Hardy handle, one of those returns that I had a few years ago. And anyway, with a golden nib, the golden nib, a 30 millimeter premium silver tip badger. Just a beautiful brush and works marvelously. So that's it. I'm done. Thank you for staying with me, and I will see you down the road.